Ichigo versus Grand Fisher. Those fights were great because of the emotional context behind those fights. You can't introduce a random ass character like Hollybell and have her fight an important character like Toshiro and expect me to give a fuck just because Hollybell is the number 3 Espada. Like, okay, cool. Her rank got me interested in her character. Besides that, why the fuck should I care about her? To see her power levels? Motherfucker is a top 3 member of one of the most evilest groups in the show, and the best you can do is give me a last minute flashback with no buildup of what her actual character was before the flashback. Like, come on now. Earlier I mentioned Demon Slayer as one of the series that were inspired by Bleach because they do the same shit where they like to give some of the villains last minute flashbacks before they die. The only difference with Demon Slayer is that the audience knows about the villain and how they feel before the flashback, and that's because the villain either has been built up before the fight or during the fight. The author then uses the last minute flashback to show what made that villain feel that way, which is more effective than just throwing a character out there with a high rank with nothing else to their character other than their high rank. If you're not going to put any effort into your characters, then don't give them too much screen time. It only gives people more time to criticize how shallow and uninteresting they are. And that's the case with most of Bleach's characters. It's too many fucking characters and they add little to jack shit to the story. Damn near every fight in the series starts and ends the same way. Person A encounters person B, they talk shit and have a dick measuring contest with their power level. Person A gets beat up the entire time, and in the last minute, person A gets a convenient power-up that lets them get the upper hand on person B. Like, I'm not lying, most of the fights in this series follows this formula. The amount of plot conveniences in Bleach are ridiculous. And I know all stories have plot conveniences, but some are more acceptable than others. Bleach's plot conveniences are some of the worst I have ever seen in any anime, such as Ichigo being every race in the goddamn series, despite making the audience think he was just some regular ass dude who can see ghosts, or Naneo getting a sword that allows her to fight against godlike beings when she was coincidentally fighting the fucking god, or the Soul Reapers getting convenient power-up tattoos when they were getting their asses beat by some bum-ass Arancars. The plot conveniences in Bleach are just fucking awful. The series also lost that mature tone it had in earlier episodes, and it started to become really goofy, to the point where characters would be in the middle of a life or death situation and they'll have a comic relief moment with either the person they're fighting against or a person that's on their side, which takes all the tension out of the serious situation that they're in. Now, I know I addressed the characters earlier in the video when I was talking about the fights, but I kind of want to get a little bit more specific on how I feel about them. Now, everyone knows Bleach has a shit ton of characters. In my opinion, they have too many fucking characters to the point where some take away screen time from others who need it more. I am talking to you, Yukitake, and Yamamoto, and it's not just them, it's a shit ton of other characters that I can name, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But most of Bleach's characters are shallow as fuck, they're forgettable, they're just there for like cool designs and badass one-liners and shit like that. You're not going to come across that many characters with interesting philosophies except for maybe Aizen, Urahara, Mayuri, Kamamura, and I'm probably forgetting some other ones, but the point is there's not that many of those characters in this series. When it comes to the Gote 13, I really don't have an issue with them. They're a group of somewhat enjoyable characters, though Kenpachi is one-dimensional as fuck, and the way the series constantly wastes his power levels by saying he's powerful because he's powerful is kind of bullshit, but hey, whatever. Byaku Akushiki is a bled character that's all style with little substance, just an overall overrated ass character. I think his voice actor carries the hell out of him. Soifan is a bitch and a Yodorichi fangirl. Nothing really interesting about her, to be honest. And that fat ass dude that's always with her is a terrible character too. And Tosen, that motherfucker ain't shit but Aizen's teacher's pet. Also, the motherfucker preaches about justice and shit and going down the path with the least bloodshed. Meanwhile, this motherfucker is teaming up with Aizen, who is literally trying to fuck everybody up. Like, the shit makes no sense, and so doesn't his character. One can make the case and say that Tosen will let Aizen slide because you need to sacrifice 1,000 to save millions. But see, the thing with that is, if the person you're teaming up with is making it very clear that he doesn't want you or anyone to trust him, on top of him doing illegal snake shit in the background, and you are there to witness the shit, then yeah, I don't want to hear about you talking about walking down the path with the least bloodshed, because the motherfucker you're teaming up with is giving you mad signs that he wants nothing but bloodshed. Geen is a funny ass character, and the way he trolled Rukia at her execution is Hall of Fame levels of trolling. Also, the way he mentally fucked with the characters to get them to think that he was the person that killed Aizen was high levels of master manipulation. His backstory was kind of meh though, not gonna lie. Kind of felt like his backstory was phoned in on some quick shit. They could have definitely put a lot more effort into his character. When he died, I was literally like, wait, is that it? Also, I can't understand why he waited so long to betray Aizen. If his whole plan was to betray Aizen for what he did to Rangiku, then why didn't he do it when Aizen was, you know, not a fucking demigod? Shit doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. The same with Yukitake. I thought he was a cool character and felt like they could have put more effort into his character. He was pretty much boiled down to a convenient plot device to stop Yuwa from destroying everything. As for Yamamoto, Mayuri, Toshiro, Unohana, Kamamura, and Shunsui, all are solid characters. I fuck with them heavy, though Toshiro is kind of a jobber